So who's the head coach of the Miami Dolphins next year?
Oh, wow. So one loss and he's already out the door. I don't know. Is that going to be a glamorous job?
Yeah, you got to come closer than 36-9 if you're going to play the Patriots. I think that was a wake-up call for Stephen Ross.
Well, let me. I want to ask.
Dan Campbell is not your long-term answer, but the point is that this is what Belichick does. This is what the Patriots do. They've had 21 head coaches in the AFC East since the Patriots hired Bill Belichick. 21.
I saw. I guess one of the questions I would follow is these Thursday night games. Man, they are ugly. The players can't like them. Is that Miami just short week? You're the road team there, or are they that far in talent?
I don't think they're that far in talent, Mike. I think they're that far in coaching.
Well, I
don't think they're that far in talent. I think that was a superior preparation job on a short week. But having said that, I think it's pretty clear that it's really difficult to win when you go on the road on Thursday night.
No doubt.
You look at these road teams on Thursday night, it's hard to find one that won one of those games. Go down the list. It's hard to prepare. You finish your game on Sunday. You come in on Monday. Monday's a recovery day. Tuesday, you're prepping, you're practicing, and Wednesday, you're maybe doing a walkthrough and you're out the door. You're traveling on Wednesday.
They're bad. They're tough. They're tough to watch, too, Sal. It's not a good product on Thursday night. The product's hard to watch sometimes anyway, but Thursday night's a whole nother level. They're bad games.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some of the
that's where the officiating really takes over is Thursday night.
You're right about that.
Thursday night has the highest rate of penalties called. And this year is the highest rate of penalties called in the NFL in any year in the NFL. Any year, going back to the Super Bowl in 1970. The merger in 1970. So penalties are at an all-time high, and Thursdays, they're the highest.
Well,
so that's the biggest issue is these are sloppy games on Thursday, and when you have to fight through a short week and go on the road, it's a difficult obstacle. And when you have to go on the road and play in New England against Tom Brady, you're asking for the near impossible.
Yeah, that was good night Irene for them last night. Not even close as New England continues to stay perfect. We got some good perfect games this week, but 7 weeks at the bye, Sal. This town is up in arms right now, 3-4, not what they thought. I want to ask you a couple questions. Number one, I want to start with the coach. Does he have, in your opinion, too much on his plate as GM, coach, and play caller?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Mike. That's a very insightful question. It's very difficult to do. We saw Andy Reid fail at it. He refused to give up power on the ship, be the head coach and the play caller on offense, and it just caught up with him. But he had a run of success, though. Don't forget.
Right, but that was the start. That was the start of his demise. No.
Yeah, that was. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. And for a guy to come out of college and have no experience at this and be handed the keys to the kingdom and be the head coach and also the play caller, it's rough. It's certainly rough. I think right now the coach is trying to prove that the GM was right. And they're both the same person.
Not a good recipe. One of the questions I wanted to get your opinion on, Sal, and at 3-4, some would say, well, the quarterback hasn't played well enough. I think that's fair. But would you say this team is 3-4 because of mediocre quarterback play or poorly coached, they're just the attention to detail doesn't seem to be there. A team that has penalties and mistakes, hence 3-4.
Well, I think the mistakes are the number one issue, and so it's a lack of execution, which is mistakes, drop passes, penalties, poor blocking. You can go down the list. Lack of execution, that equals mistakes. So the question is this. Why is there a lack of execution? Is it because the talent level is just not there? Is it because the talent level is there and it's just not executing? If it's A, that's Kelly's fault. If it's B, that's Kelly's fault.
I would say this team is only 3-4 because they have enough talent, because they should be better. They would be better if not for so many mistakes, undisciplined play, penalties, drop passes. So to me, that tells you there is enough talent. It's just been the execution's not there.
Yeah, I think, though, here's one thing, though. I'll say this about this, Mike. It's a what-if situation. They would be 4-3 if they hadn't blown it in the fourth quarter against the Redskins. That, to me, is the one game that you can look at and you can say that was one drive in one quarter of one game. That's the difference between being above 500 and below 500. So that's the rosy picture view. And I think it's a pretty legitimate one. But if you want to have the negative view, you could easily do that. The Eagles don't beat the Jets if Chris Ivory's not hurt. There's no question about that. They caught the New Orleans Saints at a good time and at home. There's no question about that. So I think you can look at it from either way, but there's one overall constant that I think is important for people to understand, and that is you cannot win on a consistent basis in the National Football League if your quarterback is playing this poorly. And the numbers are just difficult to dismiss. They're overwhelmingly bad. The production out of the quarterback position is just that bad.
Yeah.
We're talking about historically bad for a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback and among the worst in the NFL right now. And I just don't know if Sam Bradford is invested in this team long term. Doesn't have a contract beyond this year. He certainly isn't playing like he's invested long term, and I wonder if he is. I wonder if he would even take a long-term deal here now at this point.
I think it's a fair question. I'm going to play a little Illuminati here for you, Sal. Because Chip Kelly, the coach, and Chip Kelly, the GM, are the same guy. Does Chip Kelly, the GM, have to look at this situation as if, hey, if Sam Bradford's not my guy in 2016, I could conceivably get a fourth-round pick for him right now if we make the change to Mark Sanchez during this bye week and he plays less than 50% of the snaps?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm for making a change, if temporary, to Mark Sanchez. I think you got to just send a wake-up message to Sam Bradford. That would be my point of view.
Yeah, because realistically, are you having a big
trouble? You got to
trouble?
get his attention, Mike. You got to say business. This business can't stop. You have to do something different. You can't. And it's funny too because you look at it, and there are the interceptions in the end zone and drop passes. But what is more difficult to calculate without going back and looking at the game, you could even videotape the game. But if you actually go online and look at the all 22 camera angle, he doesn't see wide open receivers 4 or 5 times a game. Wide open receivers that are screaming for the football for big plays. He just doesn't see them.
I can't argue. And again, it looks like to me, if they made a switch to Sanchez, is that a significant downgrade, or is it maybe possibly an upgrade?
Could be. Don't know.
Yeah.
But the one thing that it clearly will do, I think, is maybe give the shot in the arm to the team. And it may send a wake-up call to Sam Bradford.
Sal Palantonio is with us. Let me, we seem like we talk about.
That's not going to happen, Mike. That's total speculation. What if?
Absolutely.
I would be blown. I'm going to be in NovaCare next week. I'll be there. I'd be absolutely blown away if Chip Kelly announces he's making a change of quarterback. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
because I don't think the coach is going to defy the GM, and they're the same person.
Funny how that works. Sal Pal with us. Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. I know last week, and you guys on the matchup show really mapped out the differences between Murray and Matthews, but do you see that going anywhere differently?
I don't know what Ryan Matthews' groin injury is all about. I got to know more.
Well, what do you make of that whole, okay, he gets hurt on a 22-yard run, then he scores on a 63-yard run.
It's a mystery, isn't it, Mike?
It seems like
it's a mystery. I want to see if he's limited in practice this week with a groin injury. My guess is he's going to be on the practice report to a certain degree because it's hard to justify not putting him on the report. If you have a groin injury, not all of a sudden don't have one. So, I want to see how much. It's a very good question, and I just don't have the answer because I don't know how hurt he is.
Okay, what is that? You're around all these coaches and probably know how they do things better than I do and the listeners. Is it normal that the position coach puts the guys in the game and the coach really doesn't have any say or idea who he's calling a play for, whether it be Murray or Matthews? No,
it's not normal, and it's not happening on this team. The coach is fully aware of who's in the offense and who's going into the offense.
So he's throwing Deuce under the bus.
That Deuce Staley is calling the shots, but he's not.
That's not surprising, of course. They got a lot of problems at this team. Is there peace and harmony? Is everything seem like it's okay, or does it feel like a team that's 3-4 and disappointing?
I think it's a team that feels like it's disappointed in itself. It's disappointed in each other. I think this is a team that expressed that. They understand that they can't make these mistakes and beat good teams. I mean, listen, Cam Newton threw 3 interceptions on Sunday night, and still the Panthers won the game. The Panthers are for real. There's no question about that. But what makes them for real? They're a sound football team. They can run the football. Did you see how many times no gimmicks? They had 2 tight ends on the field, 1 back, 5 offensive linemen, total of 7 guys blocking between the hash marks, and they just sledgehammered the football at the Eagles defense. And the Eagles defense couldn't do anything about it, Mike.
They know they're
just played sound, old-fashioned football. They had 2 inside linebackers who roamed from sideline to sideline and controlled the field and said, you're not getting past us. And, that's like finding these 2 guys who fit in a perfectly good, sound football system and create this firewall and says, you won't go past us. It's just sound good football.
They know their limitations.
No gimmicks,
they know their limitations.
No milkshakes, no heart monitors, no sleep monitors.
Did you?
No, none of that. No smoothies.
Sam Bradford after that game said the game plan was to work the underneath. Is that the way you want to attack that defense?
Absolutely not. The way to attack that defense is over the top.
And this hasn't been a team that has been willing to do that so far this season.
Yeah, and that's a good question as to why. I think one of them is that they don't really have a wide receiver that can routinely beat the coverage. The other is that their offensive line protection has not been great enough to hold on to the ball for the required amount of time. So that's 2 pretty good reasons. And third of all, I'm telling you, all you got to do is go back and look at these games, and you won't have to wait very long to find an example where Sam Bradford just does not see open guys downfield routinely.
It's been a frustrating 7 games. We'll see if they can fix it. I was out to breakfast this morning, Sal, over in the great town of Brigantine, and a gentleman walked up to me and said, "Can you ask Sal if I can go to Rizzo? Is there still tickets?"
Wow, that's great. Yes, the Play Rizzo is a smash hit. Yesterday, with 11 performances left, it became the number 1 grossing show in theater exile history. So, yes, you still can get tickets. I know there are a number of people, friends of mine, who recently bought them for this weekend. Saturday, Halloween, it's Halloween, so there are a lot of tickets available. People are going to parties. But Saturday is the day where I know there are a number of tickets left, and there are 2 shows on Saturday. So to go to Theater Exile's website, and they'll have the number available, and you can call and get tickets. It's a great show. Anybody who's interested in Philadelphia history has got to see this show. And I got to tell you, it is amazing. I was there last night. There was a post-show discussion between the audience and the actors, and we raffled off a couple of my books, and I signed them for people. On Tuesday and Thursday of next week, I will be at the theater for 2 more post-show discussions with the audience. So if you want to come out Tuesday or Thursday night, I personally will be there.
Cool.
If you bring a copy of my book, I will sign it, take a picture with you.
All right, that's awesome. And no joke. And another guy, my man Louie over at Chef Ola walked up to me. He said, I was at NFL Films the other day. He showed me the picture with you and Jaws and Merrill and the whole staff over there. So, man, you keep bumping into me everywhere, Sal.
Yeah, he was there today.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
Saw him this morning.
About his son Lou going to school and looking to colleges and nice guy. And I haven't been down to Chef Ola in many years, but he invited me down. I'm looking forward to going down there and getting some pasta.
All right, my man. Well, enjoy all the football. And, hey, 3-4 in Philadelphia, there's always Temple football.
Yeah, there is. I'm hearing great feedback about your show down there on ESPN Radio Atlantic City. Keep up the good work, Mike, and I'll talk to you next week.